Welcome to Contino Care. The purpose of this video is to review in a very simple way how we would measure the opening of the penis, which is the meatus, which is right there. And we have the Contino gauge. The Contino gauge itself is a single-use, single patient device. This is a packaged sterile, and so quite often we send you these are already post-sterile, or if you have an autoclave and you're doing this at your own clinic, that would be great. And so the idea is that you would use a sterile device on as this is a product that's used for multiple patients, but only on a sterile basis. There is detailed instructions for use. The instructions for use come in, actually, there's two you would have got with some of the materials we provided you. There is instructions for use specifically for the Contino gauge, and they go over the basics of using the product. And we use the basis of this scale. We use the French catheter system or catheter scale. There's a chart at the start of the instructions for use that you could take a look at. Our typical sizes that we use, that we see customers use, is somewhere between kind of 22 French and actually all the way up to 36 or even a little bit higher, 38 French from time to time. So there's instructions for use that are specifically with the Contino gauge. And then we also have this general health guideline document that is for healthcare professionals. And it does a more comprehensive review of the whole process, but it also has specific information related to the Contino gauge. So refer to those at your leisure. And then typically, obviously when you're dealing with a patient, you'd be gloved, and you would have had the patient be sitting in your clinic, and you've got they're typically sitting up on a table, and then the idea is that you would open this up with gloves and a sterile device. And prior to that, you could probably use this and put a little bit of lubricant inside the meatus, and then when you actually open this up and you're gloved, you would put a little bit of lubricant on the device. I'm not actually going to open one up here because I want to maintain it, but here's an example we use for purposes of demonstrations. So in this case, again, we would have put a little bit of lubricant here, a little bit of lubricant at the opening of the penis, which is the meatus. And then what we would do is we actually try to kind of pre-lube the area before we insert it. So typically, just like we do with the Contino inserter, we would go back and forth, just making sure that the lubricant is spread on the device itself and inside the urethra. And then we would gently insert the device after we've extended the penis up and away from the patient's body. And then we just gently try to insert it. We go back and forth like this. And we're trying to look to see where we're going to get some resistance. We're starting to get some resistance here around the 27 mark. And so that really, at the end of the day, that's kind of that's what the measurement is 27 French. And that divide that by 3, and that essentially translates in the number of millimeters is the diameter. So divide that 27 by 3 is 9. So if we were to measure this, so this would be close to about 9 millimeters in terms of the diameter. And so that information we'd ask you upload using our file share information, or make a note on your chart as well. And then that's how that would be the starting point. Typically, when we use the sizing convention, if we measure somebody as a 27, we would have the patient do the first insertions at a size, 25 or 24, typically 25, 2 or 3 below what you've measured. And we do that because we want that first insertion to be relatively painless and just very easy insertion and removal. So just a very quick recap again, you'd be gloved. You would have a sterile Contino gauge. Typically, we would, lubricate the area before you do the insertion there, and you can also lubricate the device itself. And then, in terms of the insertion, extend the penis away from the body and straight out, so the device is going to go in on a straight line. And then, before you make the insertion, just go like this. Make sure that the device and the urethra are lubricated, and then you make the insertion slowly, gently, And then when you get to a level of resistance you think that is, somewhat significant and you don't obviously want to hurt the patient, then, in this case here, again, we've measured right around the 27. Make a note of it in your chart. And then again, then that's our starting point for purposes of trying the Contino insert. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to let us know. Thanks so much.